What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. I know I've got a smile on my face, but we have lost 1-0 to Pacos de Ferreira in the Europa Conference League. I mean, I never thought I'd be saying the day we lost to Pacos de Ferreira in the Conference League, but it is only the first leg, and we did have a completely changed 11 out there, a very inexperienced 11. And it showed like that on the pitch, didn't it, today? I mean, it looked like it was 11 strangers out there on the pitch.
Yeah, there was no cohesion. There was no kind of system in place that was identifiable. it was very much a mix and match and very disjointed performance, and that showed on the pitch. And that was that's probably what contributed most to the defeat. Unfortunately, you're probably smiling because the game's over. That's probably why you're smiling now to witness that any longer. Absolutely, it was shambles, but I kind of expected that it wasn't going to be the best performance today. Early season as well. New players getting up to speed, players who shouldn't really be at the club starting. So it's a shame that the players on the pitch who are fighting for a first team spot didn't kind of take this game by the scruff of the neck and see this as an opportunity to take a claim for the first team. That's the biggest shame. But look, in terms of the actual where it places us in the competition, there's still a chance next week. It's not the end of the world. It's only 1-0. It's 1 goal. No away goals in the competition as well. So we don't have to worry about Pacos getting a goal and then we have to score 3. It still only makes it 2. So I think we'll still make it through. But it was just it was just so horrible to sit through that game.
Some strong comments from Nuno after the game, and he said that after that loss, the feel-good factor is not there at Spurs anymore.
He said. Where did he say? He said. Where did he say that? He said it impacts the team a lot. Nobody likes to lose a game and not play well. The feel-good factor is gone, but that's football. Now we have to get it back on Sunday. So I think that's what he's got to say. I think he's got to be seen to be taking this competition at least somewhat seriously, and I think it's right. I think when after a loss, the feel-good factor is never good, even if it is a miss-and-match team. And I'm sure it'll be a different kind of approach to the game on Sunday when it's a full team out. But you've got to say when it's the team that loses, not just the players on the pitch. It's still the squad. So it definitely impacts people. It impacts us for sure.
All right, so shall we start getting some people on and getting their opinions? And let's start with Wes the King, taking Grandpa's spot. How you doing, Wes?
All hail. Big shoes to
I'm
fill.
doing good. How y'all guys?
Yeah, all good, my friend. All good. I mean, what did you make out of the display today? Was there any kind of positives to take from that performance?
I didn't get to watch the game. You know, I'm over here in the States, and then we're broadcasting it live. But from what I was hearing from what you guys were saying, it sounded like
I'm so jealous of you, Wes. Sorry, I'm just so jealous that you didn't get to watch it.
I don't care about watching the game either after what I was hearing. I didn't hear anything exciting from any of you guys at all. We were talking about pretty much other stuff while they were playing, and that's very bad when that kind of stuff is happening. But from what I was hearing, it sounded like Hill had probably the best game out of everybody. It sounded like he was the only one really doing something. It seemed like he was a step ahead of everybody else from what I was hearing. Romero, he was struggling from what I was hearing, maybe because of the back three, maybe. But other than that, it sounded like a boring game. Of course, Carter Vickers, he need to go. I'm American. I'm saying that. Another thing about the American stuff, soccer in America, yes, I call it soccer sometimes. Football is really what I usually say. But soccer in America, football in America is tremendously growing. We're not in the 1980s or 90s no more. This ain't David Beckham. When David Beckham came to MLS, it's a lot higher now. The crowds we get is crazy, especially here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it must have been Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane was the one that brought football home to America, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went to LA Galaxy, I think.
Do you think that does this result impact anything for you, or do you think that in the second leg we should have more than enough to go through?
We're gonna have to play our strongest, like a stronger starting lineup. I don't know that for sure. If we're gonna need to take this a little bit more seriously, I feel the same way Sim did. We can't just be thinking that we can just blow past some of these clubs. Like, some of these clubs are here for a reason. I know this is like the third division for Europe soccer, for Europe, like European competition, but you still got to take these teams seriously. They got a lot of good players, a good few of them, and as you saw with the one who scored a goal. But you can't just expect to play our speed team and expect to just blow past everybody.
Yeah, what do you think? We underestimated Pacos today, or do you think 1-0, it's not the end of the world, and you just take it back to the lane and hopefully go through? Still there?
1-0 is not. It's not an all ends all, but just 1-0. I think we can score 2 goals. We can definitely score 2 goals on next game. We just got to play a stronger squad. I feel like we should have had at least a couple players that play regularly for our first team into that starting 11 for this game. I think we didn't take them as seriously, I feel. And maybe Nuno was just thinking that he needed to rest a couple players because we had a game Sunday, I think. Maybe that was the reason. But yeah, he should have played. He should have had a couple players in there. I know Lucas Moore. He's the type of dude he can play a couple games a week and still be very high energy. We could have had him out there. Maybe just had him come off the bench Sunday. You could have had a couple players at least make a little bit of a difference, especially since we had nobody who can like impact the game coming off the bench.
All right, Wes. Always good to speak to you, my friend. Great to have you first on, and looking forward to speaking to you throughout the season, mate.
Big yourself up, Wes the King. Come on.
Big up, Wes. Oh, he's gone.
Come on, you Spurs. Thanks for coming on, mate. All right, who have we got on next? It is Min2 Lee, people. Come on, Min2 Lee. The legend is here, Min2 Lee. How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. I mean, that game of football was absolutely shocking. I mean, what can you tell me? What did you make out of that?
It's ridiculous. Like, I don't think we took the game seriously at all. Like, I know we have players to rest and people to travel, but like it's a joke from the whole team is like what, less than 20 years old, with Lusalso and Wings. That's the only senior member of the team really. I don't think it was a good choice to put Wings starting. If the rumors for him unfollowing Spurs Instagram and all that stuff was true, then he's not at a good mental state to actually start. And well, fact to be told, he didn't do well there, didn't you? Yeah, but to be honest, on the bright side, it wasn't a 2-0 or 3-0 with just one goal. Okay, we can do it again in the next leg.
Yeah, do you think?
The man Gil was doing quite well there. He's fast, he's quick on the ball. I thought at first the 11th shirt from Lamela may be a bit too big for him, but I see potential there. Man looked good.
Yeah.
The number 11 shirt's too big for Brian Hill, do you reckon?
Never. Brian Hill is our new David and that's who he is. The 11 shirt will never hold too heavy on the back of his back.
Didn't realise the Lamella shirt was so heavy. Do you think Nuno holds a lot of accountability then for today's result?
For the selection, yes.
Yeah, you think maybe, do you think he underestimated them?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would put somebody like Højbjerg or Lucas Moura in, just so that they can lead the whole team and stick the whole team together. But apparently he didn't think it's important enough to put him there, or he underestimated the other team. Then I don't know. It's hard to explain this.
And what you mentioned Gil. What do you think are other two signings, Golini and Romero? Obviously, we didn't have too many shots against us, but how do you think they performed on their competitive debuts for Spurs?
I couldn't say much about Golini. Golini game for me it says more in the preseasons. But Romero seems a little bit like a ticking bomb. Like, he's good. Like, don't get me wrong, he's good, but he's a bit like a ticking bomb. As in, he's quite rough in there. You can see.
Yeah, he's very aggressive, isn't he? You can see that from the start. He's always looking to get in front of players and make very, very strong tackles. And today either came off for him or it didn't come off, and it happened a few times, didn't it? What about a player like Ryan Sessegnon? Do you think he did his chances of a first team spot any good today?
I tell you what, Sess and Gil, they're not meant to play together.
Yeah, probably.
A lot of the time, they don't really support each other. Like, but other than that, it's been a while since Sess played, didn't he? So not much I can say really.
A while for Tottenham anyway. But do you think it creates a bit of a negative feeling going into Sunday? Or do you think that's different squad, different players, we should be okay?
Pretty sure that most of the players that play today won't make it to the Sunday game. Salso maybe, but not even Wings. So I don't think Romero's starting either on Sunday. So I'll say be all right. It's different game, different league. Also that Nuno knows Wolves, so that's a plus side for us. Because I do think that he didn't really know this team very well, the opponent teams very well this time to actually make a clear decisions. But it'll be a different game on Sunday.
Yes, it will, and let's hope for 3 points. But Min2 Lee, absolute pleasure having you on as always, and we'll see you next time.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
All right.
Big up Min2 Lee. The press conference is just going up right now as we speak. But let's get on Brad Hotspur. Let's get Brad on. Come on. Brad, how's it going, mate?
Good, very good. Yes, it's Friday tomorrow, and it's the weekend. The weather's not too bad, so yes, it's good. Football, interesting. An abysmal performance.
Yeah.
I felt with the players we had out there, we had some decent first teamers out there. I thought we should have won. But now it will make it really interesting for the return leg because I don't trust that team that are out there tonight to get it back. So Nuno says we're taking this thing seriously. So it'll be interesting to see what first 11 he plays in the return leg on Thursday.
How much stronger do you think he'll go?
He's got to, I think, bring 3 or 4 players in, I think, to win that. And the thing is, if we can have a good first half and get the game sort of done and dusted by half time, then you can bring on rest of the players and that. But I just thought they didn't. I mean, they keep had no shots. They didn't make one save.
Yeah.
The whole night. You know, it was these are players that are trying to get into the first team, and I guess the only thing you can say is that don't change the first team on Sunday against Wolves because they're out there tonight. There's no player out there that looked like they could possibly make it into the first team on Sunday.
Do you think the biggest problem today was Nuno's selection of his starting 11 or that he didn't actually have a plan B on the bench?
I think the starting 11 was good enough to win tonight if they'd have played how they can play with the players. Because when I first saw it, I thought, actually, that's a fairly strong 11. I've got some decent players there. But the bench was a problem because he didn't have the cavalry to bring on like you normally see. But then maybe he's thinking of the first leg. And to be honest, towards the end of the game, I'm thinking, you know what? We better not concede again because I can take 1-0 because we can beat this team at Tottenham next week. But if we concede again, we could play our first team against them and we make it really, really difficult. But I thought that was a problem tonight. But it's early days. He's getting to know his squad. And I think the first team that are out there tonight should have won or at least got a draw out of it. I mean, I didn't go with all these people that say we're going to win 3 or 4-0. They're no mugs, that team we played tonight. We should have beaten them, but they're no mugs.
Yeah, I agree. And do you think tonight's performance is evidence of a lack of squad depth, or do you think maybe just it's players with a new manager who have to get used to a new system?
I think it's the second actually, because the players that are out there tonight. I mean, all right, we all laugh at Doherty, but he's a seasoned professional. Lo Celso, Sessegnon's played, games. I think Galini looks okay in goal. We had Romero, a centre-back that's been in the Copa America. We had Ben Davies, who's an experienced professional. We had players out there, and I think if you'd have played that game with that 11 after about 3 or 4 months, they probably would have won convincingly. But I think, it looked very, very ring rusty, and they're getting to know the tactics as well. I mean, he played a back 3 tonight, which he hasn't played in any of the friendlies or any of the first game. So, it was just basically it was looking at players and it just looked like they didn't know each other tonight. There were a couple of. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, did that debut from Christian Romero worry you at all today?
If you take, he had some good moments where he carried the ball out. He got stuck in a bit, but there was a few moments where where he clattered in. Could be, I think the commentator said at the time that they're going to, just get on him and he's going to get fouled. I think one of the shows actually said that he does pick up a lot of bookings.
Yeah.
And he looked a little bit rash a couple of times, but then again, he's got to get used to how we play. I mean, they're very square for the goal, So it's. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure. I mean, he's played in Copa America. He's the best Italian in the Italian league. So there's a player there. So I don't think you can really sort of see too much in one game.
Is there any positives from that game at all that you can take from it?
I thought that Brian Hill and
spot on pronunciation, Brad. Spot on.
Been practicing all night. I think I might say it again. I think him and Sessegnon actually did all right. I think they showed glimpses that they could be good players this season. I thought Galini didn't have a lot to do in goal, and he couldn't do much with the goal. But those are 3 players that I thought, they could come off sort of with their heads, well, not with their heads held high, but they did their best. I thought that Scarlett. I mean, I'm very reluctant to have a go at Scarlett because the service he got was dreadful tonight.
Yeah,
he had two centre backs on and just kept pumping the ball long to him. The poor guy, and I thought the referee was a bit pinicky tonight as well. He wasn't allowing a lot to go. He was sort of, I think Scarlett went a few times and he sort of was giving free kicks away, which you probably won't see in the Premier League. So I'm reluctant to have a go at Scarlett. Noel John, I didn't see much of him in the first half. But yeah, Sessegnon and Brian Hill, I think, were the players. Brian Hill,
you said you wouldn't. You said you wouldn't.
I know, on a roll. I think when I was watching him, me being of the older generation, the way the Spurs kit is now, it's very similar to like the 70s. And the way his gait and the way he gets the ball and he does this, it reminded me a bit of Peter Taylor, the Spurs player, Spurs winger.
Okay.
Saw a bit of him in there, but I think he showed some good glimpses, some little touches that he did. And to be fair, in the first couple of minutes, we should have scored. He got to the byline and Sessegnon didn't really do as well as he should have done. But those two players. And as I said, I'm trying not to get too stressed out about tonight's game. It's difficult, especially after Sunday. But let's face it, the Sunday team weren't playing tonight, so we can't really sort of have a go there. So,
I was actually looking at Brian Hill today, and I thought a bit of an air of David Ginola about him today.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but that's sort of the way he sways and that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if he could be half as good as David Ginola, we've got to buy it. So,
exactly.
But I think he will get his games, and he could. Yeah, he showed some glimpses tonight. I thought, okay, this guy can do stuff. I mean, again, it's going to be the full season and see how he goes. But him and I thought Sessegnon in a more forward role, I thought looked okay. He didn't take players on tonight, which I haven't seen him do before. So obviously that would suggest that he's got a bit more confidence now after his time in the German league or where it was he was playing.
Yeah, Germany.
So.
All right, Brad. Absolute pleasure as always, mate, and we'll see you next time.
Nice one, Brad.
Up the Spurs, come on.
Yeah, come on, you Spurs. We'll do it.
We'll get through. Everyone seems confident.
And up next is the Irish Ho.
The Irish Ho.
Yes, Mr. Irish Ho. How you doing?
Oh, lads, I'm absolutely fuming. I'm not going to lie. I'm absolutely fuming. I don't want to keep going on about it, but it's the same players that let us down. The senior players out there today, they're out there to set the standard, grow into the game, get the younger players to grow into the game and thrive off the back of that. And honestly, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Like, look, especially in the likes of Winks and Ben Davies' case, you have the Colchester game, Zagreb game now tonight. What more excuses are these guys going to keep making? Pochettino worked them too hard. Josie was too mean. Didn't work them hard enough. They get given an opportunity today. Now, off the back of Sunday and off the performance of Sunday, where you had 11 people together, all fighting for the one cause, and then you go to tonight, it's two complete different opposites. And it's time and time again, these players step into these sort of games and just let us down. They just let us down. Like, the thing is, they didn't even try to go forward at times. It was all just happy to keep the ball, passing it inside, rotating it from from Doherty into Winks to Ben Davies and back across again. It's absolutely shocking. So sorry for Dan Scarlett today. Nothing to feed off. Sessegnon, a bit sorry for him. He tried, but look, trying isn't enough. And Gill, look, for me, I think that's a positive from today. I do think he's very good with the ball at his feet, especially in the first half when he spun the fullback, got inside, got the ball to Sessegnon, he couldn't get it out from underneath his feet. But honestly, like, when you see the performance we did against Man City today, or against Man City, you think some of these guys will come out fighting for their places, show why they deserve to be in this team. And they just didn't. And for me, it's concerning because these are the players that are going to step in when we get injuries. And if they step in and ruin what that first 11 had done Sunday, we're just going to have another season like we did last season. It's not good enough. I know it's only our second competitive game of the season. But, like, Sunday set the standard for the season. It set the tone for the season. And then this tonight, some of these players have to go. I don't care. I will actually rather get Paratici and Daniel Levy to sort out a payment to another club to take some of these guys. It's getting that bad. I wouldn't let Ben Doherty or Matt Doherty, Ben Davies and Harry Winks, or let alone a backup for Tottenham, It's an absolute joke, and I'm fed up with the same old performances from these guys. I'm sick of it's actually becoming indefendable anymore. Indefendable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
But how much responsibility for tonight does Nuno hold for the performance? Should he have played either a stronger team or at least taken some more first team players to Portugal? Was he? How much culpability do you give to him?
Do you know what? I'm not going to give him too much, because we complained last season. Son, Højbjerg, Kane, some of the starting 11 players from last season played too much football. But there's a reason why they play too much football. Because when these guys step in, they're not good enough. They're not good enough, and they don't put in enough effort. And then, like last season in the Europa League, how many times, even in some of the double-header games, we went out with a team that you'd expect to win in the first leg, doesn't do the job, and we're having to play some of our bigger players in the second leg. And this is what I was saying last season. These players are not only letting down some of the youngsters at the club, but letting down some of the other senior pros at the club. And the reason why I say youngsters is because if they'd done their job tonight, some of them youngsters would have got a run out next week. I remember going back to when Tottenham were first getting into the Europa League. We were playing half-assed teams, mixed teams all the time in some of the legs, and we were winning 3-4-0 and making it comfortable. We were winning our games. You know what I mean? We weren't having to rely on the second leg being at home and bringing in the likes of some of our best players and just putting more minutes they don't need. It's not good enough.
In terms of...
Just quickly, back to the question. With Nuno, look, I do think maybe he obviously has to share some of the blame, but I've seen it time and time again. We sit here and talk about managers when it's the same players and the same results that keep happening.
Yeah, I think it's spot on, David. I think it's spot on. You've got players in there, Harry Winks, Matt Doherty, Ben Davis. I mean, time and time again. I know these three players not going to win us a game on their own, but I think that when you're looking at the senior players to drive you on, these are the players that you're looking at on the pitch today, and they just didn't do that. But in terms of our new signing, Christian Romero, what did you make out of his performance today?
I'll be honest with you, it was a bit concerning. But look, this guy is off the back of an injury. You know, he's only getting some minutes into his legs. And I'll be honest with you, you could put the great Paolo Maldini in beside Carter Vickers and Ben Davies. He's going to look dog shit. Be honest. Yeah. They don't exactly fill him with confidence. With the goal, okay, Romero probably could have done a bit better, but we brought him because of his aggressive style. So we know he's going to come out and try and play the offsides and get out of players. Carter Vickers has to follow that run. He cannot let that striker run off him like that and just not even pass him on even. You have to follow that run and cut it out. It's absolutely shambolic. Look, with defences, we all know great defences, they play more or less week in, week out, and they form a partnership. They form a good, solid unit. I think you put Romero in beside, because at the weekend, right, you look at Sanchez and Dyer, and after reflecting on it for the week, I've actually come up with a thing on this. So I actually think that Tanganga and Reguilon made them look a lot better. Okay, they didn't really put a foot wrong. But with City, right, Maris likes to cut in and play them little balls to the back post or have a little shot. Reguilon didn't let him do it. He let him do it once. Tanganga didn't let Grealish and Sterling inside him all day long. And the only work Sanchez had to do was when Grealish did cut in a little bit. And that's the only work he had to do. So when you have two good fullbacks beside you and you have competent defenders beside you, you can look better. Because when we were playing Doherty at right back last season, too many teams were just coming in on from the full-back sides, and the centre-backs were having too much to do. So, look, I think you put Romero in beside with Tanganga right back, and you have Reguilon left back, and you put him in beside a Sanchez or a Dyer. I do think he will look 10 times better.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. And finally, how much of an improved team do we want to see in this next leg to win this game?
I'll be honest with you, just send out the first 11 or send out 6 or 7 of them from the game after Wolves, get the job done and take them off nice and early. I'd be putting Son out there. If Kane's fit, I'd be getting him out there, get some minutes into his legs. I'd definitely be putting a Højbjerg and an Ollie Skip in midfield, because I don't know if anyone watched my preview last night, but on my preview, I did say that they would score off Harry Winks today. They're aggressive in midfield. When we get the ball, they like to hunt at us. And the thing is today, what it was is, right, we weren't up for the fight. Like I've said this time and time again with these sort of teams, you outrun them, you match their aggression, your quality shines through and you win the game. We weren't up for the fight, and they just picked our pocket in midfield all game long. They made us rush on our passes. And for me, you need a Højbjerg and a Skip in there to counteract that next week. And maybe you put in a Tanganga or even a Reguilon at left back to get further forward and start getting balls into the box. That's how I think we will win it next week. I think you can stick with Galini. I think you could probably play Brian Hill again and stuff like that. But I do think we need to send 6 or 7 players out to show some of these donkeys what it means to play for this badge and this club.
And last question now. How do you care that much, even if we were to go out? Because there's a bit of a split in the fan base on this one. Would it bother you?
Yeah, I'll be pissed. It's a trophy at the end of the day. We are so starved of trophies at this club. So starved of trophies. Honestly, you have to go and win it. You have to go and win it. You cannot sniff up a trophy. No big clubs with big mentality. Like even United, when they were in the Europa League, they didn't sniff at it. They went to win it. They weren't used to being in the Europa League at that time, but they still went out to win it. We have to take every trophy we can. You win trophies, it breeds confidence and it breeds winning. Look at Leicester. They won the FA Cup. They won the Community Shield. Look what happens when you win a trophy. You can't sniff your nose up at anything at Tottenham Hotspur when we don't win trophies. You have to take everything that's on the plate. You have to.
Absolutely spot on. Thank you very much, Dave. We'll see you next time. And also, great job on the pump up today.
Yeah, I don't even think there was a point to doing it today. Let's be honest. It was all for absolutely nothing. But look, I'll still be back here for the Wolves game and next week for the second leg, getting everybody pumped up and believing we can do it all over again. So don't worry about that. Boys, thank you very much for the opportunity and enjoy your fan show.
See you later, Dave.
Nice one, David.
TV Army.
Big up, David Harris. We got a super chat here from David. Tim Falco saying, totally agree with the Irish Hotspur. Ben Davis, Harry Winks, Doherty, shocking. Get rigged of the bang average. And it's hard to oppose that, isn't it?
Can't disagree. Not at the back of that performance, that's for sure. You can't disagree with that. It's been too long now. These guys have been getting away with murder at the moment, especially in these kind of games where they really put in some shocking performances. I don't know. It's difficult because off the back of tonight, you can't, and how they've been performing for the past year. It's like you can't say anything, but. Under Nuno, it's a new system. They're playing in a very, very mix and match team tonight. It was always going to be difficult for anyone playing that team tonight to kind of create a cohesive team performance. And I think off the back of, you got to take it in the context, I guess, it depends if you take it of the context of tonight or the past year, past year or so. Because if you're taking the past year, there's no excuse. Taking on back context tonight, you can say, "Oh, there's all these other players."
Yeah, you've got to take everything into account, don't
exactly.
you? Exactly.
So, look, I've said it that in this summer, I wouldn't be bothered if any of those players go, and we need upgrades. I've said that, but it's whether we can get them out the door or not. That's the question.
Yep, you've got to find a team stupid enough to take these players. But let's move on to our next guest, and that is the great Brian Dechil. Brian, how's it going, my friend?
It's going all right, lads. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've got beat today, but was there any positives in there for you?
The only positive was the second half chat show with John Cooper as the host and talking about your two youth. I think that should become a brand new show that you do, mate, because in all honesty, I didn't watch a single second of the second half. I was just listening to the cooking contest that Simeone came second, and Keygate and Ice Lolly Gate. I mean, these things are sensational.
Wow, I love Key. It's got a name now, Keygate and Ice Lolly Gate. I love it.
It's mate, honestly, it was pathetic. And like I said in that song, listen, you need to get singing. Oh, what a night. Watching Tottenham on a Thursday night. Got no depth because our chairman's tight.
What a feeling one night. I love that.
Mate, it's honestly, it just gets to the point. It's embarrassing. All right, it was a second string team, yes, but a second string Tottenham team should not lose to a team that's trying to get into, like, you've got first team players in there, or some who think they are. It's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. And I said on the pump up show with David about should Romero start against Wolves, and I said no, he shouldn't before the game, because obviously you don't break a winning team, and Dyer and Sanchez did nothing wrong. And today, all right, it was his debut. He's coming back from an injury, and it just goes to show that's the reason you do not just shove him into a winning Premier League team. So I mean, Howard Wolowitz, aka Brian Dahill, it looked very, very good, and I can see exactly what you were saying, Ben, about the movement the way he glides with the ball, kind of Ginola-esque.
Yeah.
And like everyone else has been saying, let's just hope he's half the player at a minimum, because that was a positive. I don't really think there's any more positives to talk about. Only that it now throws in, who do you put in the second leg? Do you mix it and put someone like a Sissoko or some more first team regulars to give the youth some experience? Someone I was very disappointed not to even see on the bench was Alfie Devine.
Well, the reason he did play 90 minutes for the under-23s a couple of days ago, so I think that's probably why.
Ben, wouldn't you have thought that maybe, do you know what, this is a better chance for him to get a bit more or action, a bit more competitive to see what he's got, rather than the under-23s? I mean, I think he's going to be a star, but I don't think there's not a lot to take over. But one thing I will say, with the great super chat, I don't know if Crocodox is in the building, but when he said about his conspiracy theory, I kind of believe it. Why not? If you're trying to show, because you could have chucked in a Sissoko and a few more to say, okay, let's just get this deal done. But to show how weak we are in depth-wise, this has just gone to show. In all honesty.
Do you think 2 games into Nuno's tenure, he's already trying to send messages to Levy?
Well, there's only one way to try and get through to this parasite. And everything else has been tried, as we know, and it's not working. Listen, with Paratici, listen, that guy has widened the net. Don't get me wrong. And the calibre of players we seem to be linked with is certainly of a more higher class. But it's the same story that there's rumours. I mean, this Martinez one, which I don't understand, if this deal was all agreed before the Lukaku deal went through, why did we not have the brainwave of signing him before Lukaku went through? So then it's not even an issue. But lo and behold, all of a sudden, we were interested before Lukaku, and then Lukaku gets done and he's not. It's all hot air.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's just another one of those stories, isn't it? The countless stories. We can write a book on how many players we've nearly signed, can't we?
I don't think it'd have to be an ebook now, because could you imagine the depth of that book? Like 15 yellow pages stacked up together. My grandma used to have to stack the yellow pages to get over the baby gate when my mum was in the hospital with my sister. You could just use that and literally touch the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah. I've just got in my mind that advert, with the Yellow Pages advert with kissing under the mistletoe. That's what I've got in my mind right now.
There you go. There you go.
But Brian, do you think Nuno maybe got it the wrong way round in this tie? Should he have played a stronger team first leg, and then once the tie's dead, then play a completely weaker team in the second leg?
You know, I mean, I think Nuno would have thought we're not going to lose this, or at least not be defeated. Maybe get away with a draw or something. But he's got to realise that the Premiership, or getting a good run in the Premiership, is literally a must for us. And he has to make sure this is right. And then who could he have taken extra, Simeon? Like, who else is there? Like, I agree with none of the first 11 going. Thank God Højbjerg weren't there, because I just don't see the point of them even having to get on the plane and then travel and then stay overnight. There's no point of it when they could just be at Hotspur away training and preparing for the game that's more important. So there's there's a Sissoko, all right, Doherty, but maybe there's a couple of other first team fringe players he could have taken. But I mean, Harvey White should have been on that pitch before Winks, in all honesty. Like, he went out on loan. We've all got great things about him. And I think Harvey White is due a go. It's due a run. So it's just strange, but it just goes to show our lack of strength in depth.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think today probably did expose how bad our depth is, didn't it?
Massively.
Yeah.
But Brian, I want to ask you this. Like, there's a bit of a split in the fan base in terms of everyone's opinions on the Conference League. I mean, where do you stand on it?
I mean, I must admit, watching that, I didn't call in because it was too early, but hearing you two talk the other day, and it got a little bit heated, and then would you take sixth and this, and then fourth and that? It's fascinating early morning viewing, but listen, the way I look at it, there is such a level of mediocre that's accepted within this club now because of what's going on. It's like, as long as we make money, winning a trophy is winning a trophy. And everything starts from... If you look at Mourinho with Chelsea, he always went for the Carabao Cup or whatever it was called back then, because it's getting that trophy under your belt and saying, here we go, we've won something. And we were all saying that with the Carabao Cup last year when we got there. Listen, I want this cup to be mainly used predominantly to bring through youth, i.e. a Scarlett, a Divine, a Harvey White, and tinker with a Gill, and tinker with a couple of first teamers. A trophy is a trophy. And All right, if you gave me the list of, obviously forget the Premiership, that ain't happening. It will always go FA Cup, followed League Cup, then this. But we need to get a trophy under our belts. And more to the point, if we go out of this cup, not just in this qualifying round, but at any point, the amount of grief we're going to get from every other team is quite frankly unbearable to think of. So for me, it's just getting a goddamn trophy under our belts. And then, but like I said, if I had to take my pick out of the 3 available, there's no way I'd pick this as like the one to go for.
Yeah. All right, Brian, absolute pleasure as always, my friend, and we'll see you next time.
Always a pleasure, guys. And as always, Levy out.
That's
Love
it.
it, Brian.
That's what I'm talking about.
Got Brian Dayhill. always good to chat to him.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a super chat here from Awesome Or saying, this is why Harry Kane should get out. The club has 0% ambition, but the only thing is moolah. Too bad for the new players that come into this club.
The only thing is moolah.
Money.
Yeah, he's right. Pretty
Exactly.
much.
And as Phil Brady says, money, money, money. And let's get him on now. Phil,
there we go.
How's it going, mate?
Well, yeah, the highs and lows of being a Spurs fan.
That's right.
96 hours ago, we were walking on air, and now we're looking for the nearest pier to jump off.
Have you found one? I'm coming to join you.
No, lucky enough, we're inland.
Thankfully. Good. About the game tonight, Phil, talk to me about your thoughts about it.
I'm not wholly surprised because I was making a point there for the last couple of days. I didn't think we had enough midfielders in that squad tonight, and we were overrun in midfield. I mean, Harry Winks. Enough said. He just doesn't cut it, and putting poor Niall John took the brunt of being taken off at half time, but he wasn't the worst of it. The midfield was just, they saw us coming, and they walked through us. And Harry Winks was responsible for that goal. He should have been covering. The 3 senior players in that team tonight, Matt Doherty, Winks, and Ben Davis, shocking. If that's supposed to be they're supposed to be role models for the younger players. I mean, I feel sorry for those young lads having to put up with those 3 guys. I'm just getting a bit emotional here because it was such a bad performance tonight. It really upset me. And we'll still probably go through in the second leg, but we're going to have to change the team.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to bring, say, 4 or 5 of the regulars in there to see this job through. Get a few goals in the first half, then take them off. But no, it was just, I'm supporting Spurs a long time, and tonight now was, I'd say, one of the top 10 disappointments over the last 20 or 30 years. We should not be losing like this.
I heard you talking in the pre-match pump-up about the Intertoto Cup, about how we, got a proposed ban from Europe that got overturned. I mean, how bad was that today in comparison to that?
Well, I suppose you couldn't really compare the two because the players that we had playing in the Intertoto weren't even Spurs players, technically. They were signed on short-term contracts for 2 matches and whatever, so they didn't give a shit. All they wanted was a pay packet at the end of the day, So, I remember the match in Cologne when they got beaten 8-0. I think Chris Day was in goal. And after that, But no, it's like this competition has been compared to the Intertoto Cup, and it probably is. It's the 3rd tier. It's the same level as the Intertoto Cup. We're taking it more seriously in the fact that we're putting our own players out on the pitch. But how long some of those players are still our players is moot point, and I'm hoping that the likes of Winks and I won't say Doherty and Davis, they'll probably stay, but Winks is just get up on the guy.
You got to find someone to buy him though, Phil, don't you?
Well, I think I said to David earlier on in a tweet, I says, could we pay someone to take him off our hands?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? When you look at the performance tonight, how much not sympathy, but, with the players being very mix and match, there was no real cohesion into the team. And when you got a new manager, you got to adapt to a new style of play. Is there anything to say with that kind of aspect to the game, or do you think that they should be up to the task straight away?
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think their goalkeeper had a save to make for the entire 93 minutes or 94
Correct.
minutes.
Don't think so, no.
So, like, that speaks volumes. I felt so sorry for Dane Scarlett up front. I mean, he was running down alleys and nobody was seeing him. Nobody was picking his runs. There was no creativity in the team. There was absolutely nobody getting their head up and picking a pass. The nearest thing we got to, I think, was in maybe the first 20 minutes of the second half, and Ryan Sessegnon at least was trying to get down the left side there and trying to do something. But he was getting no backup. He was getting no support. Brian Hill, I thought in the first 10 minutes was going to tear them apart. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
But he faded after. He really did not impose himself on the game. He didn't know. I'm not saying he played really badly, but he just wasn't doing what he did in the first few minutes, after the first few minutes. And let me see, who else can I pick out for slagging off?
Christian Romero. I want to know your thoughts on Christian Romero.
Yeah, a big concern there now. I think it's his first game. Maybe he's got to pick up the pace of the team and get to know his fellow players. But I can see how he got 10 yellow cards last season and 14 the season before.
Yeah.
I mean, I've no doubt he will grow into an extremely good player for us. But I think there could be a few disciplinary issues there. We might be missing him for a few matches. If he, I thought, okay, I'm not blaming the referee tonight, but I thought the referee was quite inconsistent. He seemed to be like Ben Davis got a yellow card for nothing, absolutely nothing, and yet the old guy playing in the back for the Portuguese team there, the referee warned him after 2 fouls. He committed about 3 more, but he still didn't book him.
Yeah,
where's the consistency? But no, I think Romero will be okay. I think, but I think we might have a few problems with him early doors while he gets settled in.
Fair enough.
And in terms of Giovanni Lo Celso, probably our biggest player on the pitch today in terms of kind of authority or first team player. You really expect him to really grab the game by the scruff of the neck. But what did you make out of his performance today? I
think it was his twin brother was playing tonight. Seriously, no, he's not. That's not the player that fell for Argentina in the Copa America. We might have 2 sets of twins on the team tonight. No, it was quite ineffective. He kept running into blind alleys. He was dispossessed several times. Knocked off the ball. I thought he would be actually our main man tonight for taking the chances, but he didn't create anything.
No, he didn't.
And last but not least, I've been asking this to anyone, but where do you kind of stand on the Conference League? Are you bothered if we go out, or do you think we need to be in it to win it?
No, I think we have to be in it to win it. I mean, we can't have the embarrassment of going out of the third tier in Europe in the playoff rounds. I mean, as somebody said earlier on, that we'll get horrendous stick from other fans of other clubs if that happens. I don't think it will. I think we'll cruise through the second leg because Nuno will have to play a stronger team, and we will probably think what's all the fuss been about. But I think Nuno has experienced the joys of being manager of Spurs. All the emotions you can think of in the space of 4 days. So,
do you agree with Nuno saying that the feel good factor is gone right now?
Oh, did he say that? I didn't.
Yeah, he said that after the game. Yeah, after the game.
A bit early to say that now. I mean, he's playing. We're playing his former team on Sunday. Surely there's got to be a good feel-good factor about that. We go up there and win. All tonight will be forgotten.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I think Nuno maybe he just needs to talk to the PR people a little bit, just to get a bit of coaching on what to say and when to say it. It's a little bit previous now to say the fun's going to after 2 matches.
All right, Phil. Absolute pleasure as always, mate, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, lads. Have a good night.
Good night, my friend.
As well as you can, as good as you can.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
When we're talking about the performance, say, from Romero, just for a second, I think what it reminds me of is Højbjerg's debut.
Yeah, I can see that.
It reminds me a lot.
Yeah,
I feel like today Romero came in very aggressive, like a bull in a china shop, very desperate to impress.
A bit like Reguilon's debut as well, but to a lesser extent.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he was just kind of going at 100 miles an hour, and I feel Højbjerg was doing the same thing. And then we coached him how to calm down a bit, and maybe you don't always have to go so aggressive, and you have to pick your moments to do that. I think that's how it's going to be, because Romero, as I said, with Atalanta, that's how they play. All of them, every player is like that. And so when he comes into a new system, he has to adapt. And you don't always have to go 100 miles an hour all the time. And I think today it came unstuck a bit, but I could understand why. And I think that's what I would say about Romero's display today.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. We got a super chat here from Jerome saying this shows again how some players like Winks, Davis and Doherty think they are too good for these competitions. Showed no motivation to play at all.
Well, didn't Mourinho last season say there are players in this team who think they shouldn't be playing in these competitions?
And I think he was speaking about those specific players.
Potentially. I mean, I don't know, but
and probably Dele Alli in there as well. But I think definitely those players were involved in that what Jose was talking about.
Yeah, and and I think today, the way they performed was definitely there was an element of like, I shouldn't really be here. It's a stupid competition. I shouldn't be playing in it. Yeah. But I think they didn't realise the team element to this game and how they have to make sure that they're the linchpins for the rest of the team, especially the youngsters, to make sure we get through this tie. And I think they let us down big time today.
They did let us down. Let's get Bob Spur on. Get those headphones in, Bob. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you?
Look, I'm all right. We've lost 1-0. We've lost 1-0 to Pacos today. I mean, in terms of the players you really thought that were going to put in a shift today, Harry Winks, well, didn't think, but they should have put in a shift. Harry Winks, Matt Doherty, Ben Davis, Giovanni Lo Celso. I mean, they were the players that really should have won the game for us today in terms of having that authority on the pitch. What did you make out of their performance?
Yeah, I think we just need to look at the bigger picture. Obviously, we're over the moon and singing the praises after the Man City game. And today, I mean, let's all be honest, I think Sim was the only one who was treading caution
Probably,
against his team. I think we were all fifth in the Portuguese league, 23 top points from the top. It should be
But it's not like they were even that good today. I mean, if we would have had 1, 2, 3 more players, we would have probably beaten them today.
That's it. And that's the worst thing about it is like you say, the experienced players didn't turn up. They felt they were too good for the competition. But, we have to stand back and look at the real bigger picture. How many of these players are on the list? Don Paratici, the so-called Don Paratici, will be looking at that thinking, shit, my job's bigger than what I thought.
Yeah, with less than 2 weeks to go.
That's it. And he needs to rush it through. There's absolutely no reason why the likes of Harry Winks or Carter Vickers should be even an option for today's game. They should have been well out the door. Yeah, of course, there's teams out there who aren't coming in for them. But we need to push them out. We need to do some sort of deal. Don Paratici needs to become that Don and do something and get him out and get some quality. Because
I swear Carter Vickers signs a new contract every year.
Exactly. in hope that we get a bit of money for him. And it's not going to happen. That little clearance that he had, and he had the ball stuck in between his feet. I mean, that kind of showed everything. What I mean, to be fair, he's had a good pre-season. But like I say, we've had all the highs, and today was a bit of a reality check. Our second string team, or so-called second string, aren't good enough. They simply aren't. And the sooner, we all know we need players in, but we definitely need some players in. It's just not good enough. Nuno, I know, has had his press conference and he's had to take some Harry Kane questions as usual. Asked about his starting 11 against Wolves, so he's under the cosh already, especially when he's not too media savvy. So, but yeah, just disappointing, mate. Just disappointed that the 1-0 win over Man City is kind of not wiped it out of the memory, but the feel-good factor, like he said himself, it's kind of disappeared, hasn't it?
Yeah. Does Nuno take any culpability for the performance and what the team he selected, or do you think it's important that maybe it gets made crystal clear to the hierarchy how lacking we are in depth going into the season?
I don't really think there was a message there, Sim. You tread with caution earlier, but even you said we should have enough today. And we should have. We should have had enough today. I felt sorry for Dane Scarlett. We were all, and I had him down for 2 goals. But he struggled today. And maybe there was a case of us underestimating them. And I know Nuno won't admit it, but maybe there was. Hands up, we underestimated them. There's only so many matches we can see of them. So, Was it a statement? I think maybe it turned out to be a statement. Maybe it turned out to be a statement to Paratici, to Levy. We need players. We need some quality players. We need the likes of this. I don't like using the word deadwood, but we need to get rid of these players who are, surplus to requirements out sooner rather than later. And we need quality in. And right now we're in a position where we need the quality in before the players that we don't need out, because one or two injuries in the first 11. We're going to struggle, guys. Celso was a bit of a letdown as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, I agree. I think that he was the one standout player from today that you could really think that maybe he can grab the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
We've seen him do it in the Premier League before, so I was really expecting a big performance from him today, and it just wasn't to be, was it?
No, the game was made for him. He had a couple of good touches, but I just don't think their heart was in it. The stigma that's attached to the Conference League, and I blame Sim for that. This wasn't. They probably thought they were too big for it. After the highs of the Champions League and the Europa League, it was just I don't know, mate. And we seem to struggle against the weaker sides in Europe, don't we? The bigger sides we don't seem to have any, but the smaller sides. Going back to the days of young boys under Redknapp, we struggled there, didn't we?
Yeah.
So maybe it's they're not worthy, but they need to build. And unfortunately for me, it just means we're going to have a few more first 11 out in the second leg, which just means an extra game for them. Where they could have been rested with a bit more determination today. So yeah.
Yeah, but Bob, we can pick out individuals and say this guy didn't take the game by the scruff of the neck and this guy didn't perform and that. But isn't it a team game? Isn't it about today we had a new system we hadn't been playing in pre-season, new manager as well, had a few youth players there who who had to be kind of carried through the game. Like, should we be blaming individuals for their poor performances specifically and not look at the team overall?
I think you have to, mate. I know we've got Alex in the background, and he'll be backing Harry Winks to the hilt. But yeah, I've got every right to expect more from the likes of a Harry Winks, a Ben Davies.
But no one can do it by themselves, Bob. No one can do it by themselves.
Of course not, mate. Maybe that was again a hindsight thing. We all stood. I was listening to you guys earlier, and I totally agree with it. We should have enough people in the squad to have beaten these. So it was all about attitude for me today. And, we can't be carriers. Against a team who are so determined to put one over us and cause a massive upset. This was their cup final, wasn't it? We needed everyone to be 100% in determination and confidence and intent. And we just lacked it, which is sad to see, especially under a new manager who you think you want to prove something to. So, yeah, it was just a bit of a shit show all round. But we've got a second leg to turn it around. It was only 1-0. And I'm confident we'll turn it around. And like I say, we'll have to probably play a few more for first teamers.
All right, Bob. Absolute pleasure as always, my friend. Keep up the good work on your channel as well. So everyone go subscribe to Bob Spur TV. But thanks for coming on, mate.
Nice to see you, Bob.
Legends, come on, you Spurs.
Come on. That's the great Bob Spur. Let's keep going. Someone we haven't heard from in a while is Alex.
Oh, it's Alex.
Yes, Alex. How you doing, mate?
I can't hear him.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can hear him.
Yeah. How you going, guys?
Not bad, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. By the way, the game on Sunday, I was there at the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing being back at the stadium. Honestly, it was a really good thing that we were back at the stadium, because I know a lot of people have suffered not being at football. So I just need to make that point. I just need to put some perspective on this, because I just think some Tottenham fans just need to just wake up. Firstly, I'm not going to talk about Kane, because I don't think it really needs that much explanation as far as I'm concerned. He's not an issue. The only thing that annoys me about the whole thing, he's doing it for money, because he could just put a transfer request in. No one would blame him, because it's an absolute mess, Tottenham. I said, and I didn't like Jose. I did not like Jose whatsoever. But when we sacked Jose, I was annoyed. I was annoyed because I sat there and said they didn't know what they were doing. Okay, didn't have a clue. When I heard all the names coming through, that was like, there was what is it? Ten Hag. Then all the other names, I was like, don't know what they're doing. And then how many months later we couldn't find the manager?
72 days.
Exactly, and I called it then. I called it then. So then all of a sudden we're going for Pochettino and then Conte, and like we're sitting there thinking, oh, Conte's coming. We've got people in suits jumping up and down, looking at us, thinking, look at us. And I'm like, is this a plan? This is actually a plan. It's not a plan, isn't it? So I said, during the season, I said on the Irish Hotspur, we are relegation candidates next season because we don't know what we're doing. I felt sorry for Mason. People were having a go at Mason, which was out of order, because and saying, oh, he's boring in this. Whose fault is it that we didn't plan to do what we're doing at the moment? And what did I say to you? After Jose got sacked? I said, after Pochettino got sacked, we're going to go back to a manager like Pochettino, aren't we? And what do we do? Go back to a manager like Pochettino, didn't we? We tried to get a manager like Pochettino, didn't we? So I'm sorry. It's a transitional season this season. Okay? Yeah. The problem with Tottenham fans, you dangle a little nugget there, people clutch at it and say, oh, we're doing really well at the moment. No. It's going to take time. There's no quick fixes here. You know? And what did I say? You said to me, I can't remember your names, whether it's Sim or Ben.
Sim.
Ben, sorry, Ben. You said to me, we're going to finish on top of Leicester. I said to you, no. And I've kept on saying about Leicester because we had a system in place, and I don't want to keep on going on about Pochettino because that is the past. I've got to say that. We've got to move on, okay? But the point is that we had a system in place of how we're going to scout players. We had a fitness thing as well, which Jose didn't believe in, and always had it with the fitness thing. You know, the fitness scientific thing as well. Mm-hmm. And we're going back to that now, which we should have done that, carried on that. We didn't do that, right? There's so many things that we were doing and we didn't carry it on. We're starting all over again.
Yeah.
So it's just no quick fixes. And when I hear people say, we need to get rid of Winks, we need to get rid of Doherty, we need to get rid of this. If there's something still quiet at Tottenham, why would anybody want to buy our players, by the way?
Yeah, and that's why we're struggling. That's why we're struggling to get rid of them.
Exactly. So it's like we've got to overachieve. That's why we were successful before. And that's what Leicester are doing. You know what? People say it's an inspiration to see Leicester doing well at the moment. I'm gutted. I am gutted because we should be better than Leicester. When you look at some of those players, and trust me, I've got the Irish Hotspur on my radar because I'll be battling with him next week. So don't worry, right? Don't worry, right? Okay. It's all fun and games. Don't worry because we chat on the phone. Don't worry. But I'm sorry, but it's about a team, a squad, and that's what we're doing under Pochettino. Paratici, he's no Don. You know what I mean? He's got a long way to go. Yes, he's done some good deals at the moment, but he's finding it difficult to get rid of players, which is what, ironically, he's very difficult at doing at the moment as well, isn't he? He finds it difficult to do. He couldn't do it at Juventus, couldn't he? So I just think we just need to put things in perspective. It's a difficult season for Tottenham this season. I don't think we're relegation candidates this season, no, because I think Nuno's not stupid. But he's on thin ice because at the end of the day, he's only the coach. It's Paratici. He's the consistent guy in the system right now. You see what I'm saying? Because the only reason why Nuno's in at Tottenham at the moment is because he persuaded Levy saying, look at the way he played at Valencia. Look at the way he played at Valencia. That's the only reason why he's at Tottenham at the moment. And I do feel sorry for him because he does have some good things about him, but at the end of the day, he's got a long way to go, and he's on thin ice. Unfortunately, I think he should stay. I think they should keep, progressing with the system at the moment. But there is no guarantees this is going to actually work because it needs time, and you need to get the best out of players, and that's the way Tottenham are going to have to do it this season. It's going to be up and down. That's it. So I don't understand why everybody's jumping up and down saying, oh, why are we doing this? Why are we blaming this player? Why are we blaming this player? Why are we blaming this player? What's going on? Just take it how it is. And it's not that I don't want to win. It's just like I'm just sitting there thinking, well, what have you done the last 10? What have you done the last 13 years?
But that's why you're getting all these questions. I mean, you're saying that, oh, why is people saying this? Why is people saying that? But football is a game of opinions, and people are entitled to their opinions. That's why people
I'm
are
not
saying
saying that. I'm not entitled to their opinions. No, but I'm just saying that I'm just putting some reality into it. You know what I mean?
But I agree with you. I agree with the majority of what you said today so far.
Yeah,
I agree with it.
The thing with Kane, and I don't like I said before, we're doing the same thing that we did with Berbatov. That's what annoys me about the whole thing. We're doing the same thing. We're talking too much about Kane. And then people say, and this is what I've heard, oh, because Kane's leaving now, we've got the Deadwood that are staying longer than him. So what are you saying then? It's a Kane team then. That's what you're saying then, isn't it? That's what you're saying. That's a Kane team. And that's what that's the problem with Tottenham. We're not an actual squad, and that's going to take time. You know, he wants to play a certain way. That's going to take time to fix in. It wasn't going to be in the during the preseason because when did Nuno come in? Just at the beginning of the preseason, didn't he? Because we didn't know what we were doing, didn't we?
Correct. So all these problems, they all stem from the hierarchy, and we all know that. I think we can all agree about that. The hierarchy definitely are very culpable from where we are at the moment in terms of a squad game. But do you not think tonight showed and at least exposed our complete lack of depth going into this season?
I think it just highlights it's going to be a very difficult season. Hopefully I have answered your question, but I think it just highlights that it's going to be a very, very difficult season where a lot of players do need to step up. It is very disappointing. I will admit it is very disappointing, but I'm not going to, it's a case that players need to, are trying to get used to each other. It was a mixed team today. So obviously they don't really know each other. There's been question marks on Romero. I had a bit of question marks on Romero anyway, because I said that if he's very aggressive, he's going to have to get used to the fact that referees, if he gets very aggressive and goes too much into a tackle, he might get sent off. So he's going to have to get used to it all. I think we do definitely need a leader in that defence, a left-sided defender, definitely. That's something that I'm concerned about, definitely, in defence. And yeah, I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think Tottenham fans just need to just hold on to their hats at the end of the day. I think we do need to take this competition seriously, yes, because it's a trophy at the end of the day. If we can win the FA Cup, that would be great. Because honestly, like I said, I do regret saying that I didn't want to. I was more keen on getting top four, but seeing Leicester win that FA Cup, that honestly really got to me. And to be honest, it really made me really want to win that again, really. But it's another competition to win, really. Yes, and it does show our depth in the fact that players are not ready at the moment, and they're not ready because they're not understanding the formation, they're not understanding each other and everything else. So I think there's a lot to do, and I think it's going to take time. It's not a quick fix.
So, Alex, you're saying tonight was more of a team issue than a individual quality issue?
I think both, really. But I don't feel that pointing out players, taking Davis out the team, taking players like I do understand things like Aurier and Sissoko. We should get rid of them. I do understand that, right? Because they've said that they don't want to be here anymore. So I do understand that totally. And it was the right decision to let go of Alderweireld completely. But I think with Davis, Winks, Doherty, I do agree with it a little bit as well. But Davis, if you get rid of those, I don't think Tottenham are going to be better if you get rid of them. Because I think we're going to get average players in that are going to be worse than them. Unfortunately.
Yeah, look, it all depends on the recruitment. It all depends on who you bring in. But on one of our new signings today, Brian Hill, what did you make out of his performance today?
I didn't really see that much of the game, but from what I saw, he's all right. But I think he's going to take time.
Yeah,
I think he's going to take time. I think there was a lot of hype when he came in after he got signed. Everybody's jumping up and down about him. But for me, he's going to take a few seasons to get used to the Premier League. So I don't expect a lot from him this season. I mean, if he does well this season, that's great. But again, players and teams always have bad patches, and that's where you see the real side of players. You know what I mean? How they grow and evolve. It's the thing with players like Bergwijn and Ali, for instance. Ali's not going to go back to where he played before. He needs to evolve his game, and that's what he's trying to. That's what Nuno's trying to do, trying to evolve people's games. That's why players like Winks haven't evolved. Skip, he looks like he's evolved. He's got bigger now, and he looks stronger now. But he will have a difficult spell. So it's just how he gets through that spell. You know what I mean? It's about a team mentality. And that's why teams like Leicester, Liverpool, Manchester United at a certain point. Who else is there? I missed out a team. Chelsea are doing very well because they have got the money, Chelsea, but they play like a team. They fight for each other. And that's what Tottenham are missing at the moment. They need to be vicious. That's what they were doing against Manchester City. The energy. That's what we missed. The energy, the fitness, and making people not want to play us again. And that's the point. And that's going to take time. I'm telling you now, the first part of the season is going to be about that. Unfortunately, second part of the season, we'll see what happens. But again, like I said, as long as we are, I said we're going to be mid-table this season at best. My prediction's still going to be the same for me, and that's it for me, really. And that's it. I'm sorry if I'm going a bit too harsh on you guys, but I'm
no
just
problem, Alex.
No
problem, Alex. It's good.
And
it's good for you to get your.
I'm looking at Sim's face, and Sim looks like he's had enough already. So that's the
it's
thing.
Good. It's good. It's good. You need your Tottenham therapy in there, at least once a week. So there you go. You got it now.
I'm just being honest, because I was just getting sick and tired of hearing the negativity. Well, not negativity, just people just having to go at the same players, and it's not like that all the time. Unfortunately, every team's having problems trying to get rid of players, and that's the way it is. If players don't want to be there at the moment, don't want to be you don't want that player at that club. Why other teams want to get those players? Why do they want to get those players? What I mean? It's absolutely rubbish anyway. But I've taken too much of your time, mate. I don't want to take too much of your time anyway.
No problem at all, Alex. It's always a pleasure to have you on, mate.
Nice to see you again, Alex.
Good to see you again. And are you going to Wolves this weekend?
No. I'm gonna go. I'll hopefully go to the Watford game anyway. So
all right. So hopefully we'll see you around at the Watford game. But thank you very much for coming on. We'll see you next time, my friend.
See you later.
See you, Alex.
See you, Alex. We got a few super chats to get through before we bring on the last guest of the day. This is from Anyup, and it says Doherty, Davis, Winks, Carter Vickers need to be released or sold as soon as possible. Not good enough if we are aiming for top 4. Daniel Phillips says if we get out of this competition, whether it be the round of 32 or semi-finals, the stick we will get from fans will be tragic. And Daniel Phillips again says, I think we have a good shout of getting top 3. Wow.
Well, I don't think we're going to be getting any stick if we get top 3, even if we come out and exit this competition.
Yeah, I agree, but I can't see top 3, to be honest.
No, neither can I.
Let's bring on the last guest of the day, and that is... Oh, is he gone?
Is he gone?
Is he gone? He's gone. All right. Unfortunately, the last guest of the day did disconnect, so that is going to be it for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for your... It's your first take of Tottenham therapy of the season. I hope you all enjoyed it. But anyway, like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.